Hey guys, I am super behind on the videos where I show you guys the books I read from month to month, and I'm so behind that the last video I did was March. So in this video I'm going to combine April and May to just make one big video of all the books I read in those 2 months. I'm just gonna get right into it because I have quite a few books and I really want to show you guys what great books I read in the month of April and May. The first book I read in April was Lies by Michael Grant, and this is the third book in the Gone series, and I was really happy by the way this book turned out. I just love this series so much and I just am never disappointed with his books, so I wasn't surprised that this was another great installment. This series revolves around the event where the adults all around the world disappear in the matter of seconds. So pretty much all these kids are left alone, and along the way there's kids who develop powers, like superhuman powers. Animals start to mutate, and it's just a really awesome series with a lot of action, a lot of suspense, and just so many plot twists, so I definitely recommend it. This is the third book, and the first one is called Gone, the second one is called Hunger, and the next one that just came out is called Plague. The second book I read in April was The Gathering by Kelly Armstrong. I loved her last series, which was the Darkest Powers trilogy. That was The Summoning, The Awakening, and The Reckoning. When this came out, I knew I had to read it, and I was not disappointed. So it's about this girl named Maya, and she lives in this really tiny town called Salmon Creek. And when this new boy comes to the school, it's kind of shocking because not a lot of new kids come around, and he takes interest in her, but she kind of turns him down, and from that point on, it's where the plot kind of takes off. She discovers lots of secrets, her town's hiding more than it seems, and she learns more about herself, her parents, where she comes from, and the story turns into wicked adventure, and you just have to check this out. It's very cool. I really love this book, and now that I think about it, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5 because I just liked it so much, and I cannot wait for the second book in this awesome trilogy. Third book I read in April was The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. I did a review on this book and I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5, and I did really like this book. I love Sarah Dessen's writing, and I just love her novels altogether. They're just so light, and they just have so many like little details that make them so good, and I just love each character she creates with her book. This is the second book I read by Sarah Dessen, and I'm already in love with her writing and her books. So yeah, I did a review on this, so if you want to see what this is actually about, I'm going to link it in the down bar. So definitely check out The Truth About Forever. There's a little bit of romance and a lot of life-changing stories within one big story. This is the last book I read in April, and this is We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. This is the final book in the Summer trilogy. The first one is The Summer I Turned Pretty. The second one is It's Not Summer Without You, and this one's Will Always Have Summer. They follow these characters who are really attached to their beach house where they go every summer at Cousins Beach. So these books follow the relationships. There's a massive love triangle that just gets better and better with each book that you just have to read to experience. Friendships, relationships, new problems, plot twists, and what I love about these books is as we follow the main characters, the parents and the surrounding characters are just as important, and it makes it such a strong read because you just see how everyone grows up together and how the relationships grow. I'm so sad that this series is over, but I was super pleased by the way this book ended. This was a great month for books for me because I just read so many great books. And the first great book I read this month was The Iron Queen by Julia Kagawa. It's the third book in the Iron Face series. The first one is The Iron King, second one is The Iron Daughter, and this is The Iron Queen. So it's about this girl, her name's Megan, and she's pretty much thrown into this world called Never that has fairies and all these different alternate fantasy creatures, and there's just so much to this world. She meets new people, she discovers who she really is, and that she's more involved with the fairy world than she could have ever thought. And there's kind of like a little love triangle if you love romance, so definitely check it out because the combination of the fairy world and the love triangle together was just awesome. It's just balanced so well between the fantasy and the romance and the action, and all together it just makes a really good series. So I love this third book. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was like a roller coaster from beginning to end. So the second book I read in May was The Bite Club by Rachel Caine. It's the 10th book, and it was just as good as the rest of them, if not better. So this series follows a girl in the beginning named Claire, and she goes to Texas to attend college in a town called Morganville. And what she learns about the town turns her whole world upside down. She learns that the town is run by vampires and that, you know, they lurk at night and they run coffee shops. They're, you know, they could be anywhere. After being bullied and harassed at her college dorm rooms, she seeks out a place to live and comes across the glass house where Michael, Eve, and Shane live, and she soon becomes close friends with them. Morganville throws fights and plots and conflicts at them book after book, and you just follow along with them and root for them all the way. Morganville is a crazy town with crazy people and crazy vampires, and that's why I love this series. Each book is like a different conflict and a different adventure, and you just get sucked into them and you never want to put them down. If you love vampires, romance, action, adventure, fight scenes, and secrets and plot twists, then definitely check this series out because you won't be disappointed. The third book I read in May was Nevermore by Creagh, and this was a really good book. I thought that the last 150 pages were so confusing and really hard to read. It's about a girl named Isabel, and she's a cheerleader, and suddenly she's paired with this guy named Varen, who's dark and kind of weird and mysterious in a way, and she's dreading the fact that they have to do a project together. They have to pick a famous poet, and they choose Edgar Allan Poe for their project, and they have to do some research on him. Isabel's dreading this. Varen makes it clear that he's dreading this project as well, that he doesn't want to do it with her. But soon Isabel starts making excuses to be with him, and suddenly she becomes interested in him and discovers something about him that's strange and alluring. I love how the author took the idea of Edgar Allan Poe and kind of morphed it with the plot and made the characters involved in it. I gave this a 4 out of 5, love the cover, and I really like the book, so I definitely recommend it. The next book I read in May was Enchanted Ivy by Sarah Beth Durst. The last book I read by her was Ice, and that was like a little fairy tale, which was really nice. I liked it a lot. I thought it was creative and really magical. This one wasn't so good. I gave it like a 3 out of 5. I could give it like a 2.5 out of 5, but I'm nice, so I gave it a 3 out of 5. I just didn't connect with the main character. I didn't connect with the boy who's kind of like her interest, and I just didn't connect with the story at all. I thought it was lacking like depth, and I just didn't really like it. Pretty much this girl, who is Lily, wants to attend Princeton University just like her grandfather, and they go one day and her grandfather kind of has a surprise for her, and so does the university. So the university tells her they want her to find the Ivy key. She doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know what it is. Is it a key? Is it something else? So she only has a certain amount of time to find this. She meets new people and discovers something about the campus that changes her world forever. And I don't know, it's okay, but it was just dull and I just didn't like it. I don't know if I don't recommend it. I recommend her first book, which was Ice. So the last book I read in May was Fixing Delilah, and it's one of the best books I read all year, seriously. Sarah Ockler is an amazing author. Her first book was 20 Boy Summer. I follow a girl named Delilah, and she's kind of struggling. She feels like her life's kind of falling apart at the seams. Her boyfriend isn't much of a boyfriend, and her grades are slipping. Her mother refuses to discuss the fight that divided her family years and years ago. And out of nowhere, she learns that her grandmother passed away, and she's devastated because she never really had a good relationship with her grandmother, and she longs to understand what separated her from her family years and years ago. She has to face her family's painful past. She sees her aunt again. Her mother and her aunt kind of have a weak relationship, and you'll discover why. You know, it's just kind of the whole family on her mother's side is very, very kind of weak and very, very strained and kind of shattered in a way. This is like a summer where they try to put the pieces back together. Hannah sees old friends, and an old friend that she used to hang out with all the time. There's a new romance, and she just discovers more about herself than ever before, discovers more about her mother, her sister, and her grandmother, and what really happened years and years ago that sent them away from each other. It deals with family relationships, family problems, and one character who is just so great, inspirational, and really, really relatable. So I definitely recommend this. The romance is great, relationships within this book are great, and I just love the whole story altogether. So definitely check this book out. I loved it, loved it, loved it. I love Sarah Ockler. So that was my video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all my subscribers. Hope you are having a great weekend and an awesome summer, and I will talk to you later.